If you are okay with things ending, then that message, that learning, that insight that you've gained is the point of the relationship sometimes. And if you can accept that that's what I was here to do, which you can later, right? That's part of the healing journey, is to look back and go, oh, they were in my life for this reason. But what if you were able to do that in the context of things going, wow, I feel really unsafe here. I think what I'm supposed to learn is that I don't like feeling unsafe and I'm out of here.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Hey Babe, Can We Talk? With me, your host and bestie, Drea Renee. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the place for the hot mess expresses, the black sheeps of love, and for those who just can't seem to get it right when it comes to matters of the heart. I am you, you are me, we are one, and if no one else gets you, I do. And if you're returning, I missed you, and we're going to have a great episode. On today's episode, we have licensed marriage and family therapist with us, Naj Alikhan. We're going to be talking about understanding attachment wounds and how they show up in relationships, and it's okay if relationships end, you guys. I know sometimes I don't think it is, but it is. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that like, follow, and subscribe, and comment down below, because I'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, let's get into it with Naj. Naj.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What did you think of the intro? It was a lot.
It was perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I know it's a lot of energy going out.
It's so professional.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
Thank you. Well, I'm super happy to have you here talking about attachment wounds, something I've struggled with for so long. Before the show, we were talking about a hot take that you put out that I just want to jump into. Okay. We'll do the intro, but I want to jump into this because I'm so fascinated.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Well, I posted something a couple of weeks ago, and I said something that I thought was not inflammatory, but I did know that it was a bit rage baity, because I basically said, listen. What
He's like, how do I want to say this?
Yeah, what? My brain is like, no, you're not going to do this on camera. What I put out there was that I have broken up with people and maybe even discarded them in the past, by that I mean I've broken up with them with maybe not the kind of conversation that you would expect or hope from someone you've been dating. I made up in my own mind, this isn't going anywhere. Okay. I can tell. I've tried to talk to you about it. It's not going well. I'm just out of here.
As in, we're out of here, a ghost out of here?
No.
Okay.
I have a conversation that this is over.
Okay.
I'm not disappearing.
Okay, great.
But I think that in the world of adult relationships, you want to have what I consider a conscious uncoupling.
Yes.
In which we talk about what's not working, we agree on why it's not working, or we agree to try to work on it.
Okay, I'm with you, Naj. This sounds healthy.
But that's not what happened.
Oh. Okay.
In my longer term relationships, of course, I tried that.
Yeah.
But in some of my other relationships, especially when I was younger, I made that determination unilaterally. This isn't working. I know why. I can see how this is never going to work. And I didn't really understand the work that it would take or not take to make it work. Okay. I just decided I'm out. So I talk about that in this video. I say, and the thing is, when I look at those relationships, and I look at my relationship now, I'm married with a child, I was kind of right. Which is a terrible thing to say, I realize. To people
you were right in making the decision to end the relationship, or are we talking about like just how you ended it?
Yeah, so in the video, I also say, I've had to deal with shame and guilt.
Okay.
For how I ended it, but not that I ended it.
Ah, okay.
People still don't like that very much.
I mean, I get that. You're like, this was the right decision for me, because things do need to end. Yes. But I'm focused on how you did it.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into that.
It depends on what decade you're talking about.
Okay.
Because I'm in my 40s now.
Okay.
And in my 30s, I'd say I tried very hard to have a conscious decoupling. But, both people have to agree that it's over. And sometimes one person feels that way and the other one doesn't. And I think some of the comments are, you probably, like all avoidance, did not work hard enough, or the relationship would have worked if you had just put in some effort. And that becomes a very sticky place.
Okay.
Because I think the anxious avoidant conversation is always about, hey, look, if we just try a little harder, and the avoidance, like, you have no idea how hard I'm already trying.
Right.
You don't recognize it because it doesn't look the way you want it to look, doesn't feel the way you want it to feel. I am trying. I'm giving everything I have. It's not enough for you.
Can the anxious and the avoidant be successful?
100%. That's my life now. 100%.
Wait, you're in this dynamic now?
We have healed this dynamic together. But when we started, we definitely reignited old wounds, old patterns. We jumped into the exact same thing I had always done, and so had she.
So you're the avoidant, she's the anxious attacher.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
usually the standard. I always find it fascinating
I know, it's
when
true.
it's the men who are the
Yeah.
anxious attachers.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I don't mind a little
you
of that.
could use a little of
I
that.
can use a little of that. I don't mind a little. Where you at? What you doing? Where you going? You know?
You know, so where are you? What are you doing? I think is a great way to communicate. But what I think the internet ignores is that is not what an anxious attacher sounds like a lot of times.
Okay.
Because it's, hey, why didn't you text me?
Ah.
It's not, hey, where are you going? Because I think people are okay with that for the most part. It's, why didn't you do this thing you're supposed to do to make me feel better?
Right. So these are some of the things that avoidants are hearing.
Yes.
And they're like, whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then when it's time to break up and they're getting blindsided because you have not told them all of these things, but your list of offenses is very long. You know, you make me feel this way, you do this to me, you always want this thing, it's never enough for you. And they're like, well, how come you never told me this? Well, the truth is, because I don't know how to communicate. You know, that's a skill I've not learned, which, by the way, is not isolated to avoidance and has nothing to do with being an avoidant.
I felt like that was like they just went hand in hand.
They can, and they do a lot.
Yeah.
But emotional maturity, that means accountability, communication, self-regulation, many people are guilty of that. And when it's coupled with avoidant behavior, yes, it's extremely painful, but it's just, I want to make it clear that those two things are not inherently connected. And I know this because I've worked with many beautiful people who also are avoidant, mothers, fathers, partners of all types, who are trying their best to make it work, are committed. They just don't co-regulate very well.
So give us a little bit of background.
Yeah.
Like, how long have you been doing this work, you know, and what discoveries have come up for you about yourself through this work?
Oh, okay. So I've been a therapist for like 15 years.
Okay.
I've been doing attachment-based work. You might say that the whole time you're a therapist, you're always doing some level of relational fixing and repairing, because most people, whether it's addiction or whatever, there's some level of relational and self-regulation issue.
Okay.
But I've been doing the just focused on attachment for like the last 3 years. And I stumbled into this on accident. I had a post blow up on Instagram where I talked about my own healing journey.
Which I think is really great, by the way, when people can see you beyond just like, oh, I'm a therapist, and you're like, this includes me too. These are things I'm working on. I feel like people really relate to that.
People have, but they've also related to me as the bad guy in the story. I am such the villain.
Naj, you're coming out as the villain?
I'm trying, you know, if I have to be, I guess I will be. It's actually really hard to be on the receiving end of like 100 comments all calling you an a-hole, right? Like, it's really tough. My wife will look at that and say like, hey, just so you know, this isn't the person that I experience. And I will say, yes, but this is the person I was. And so to some degree, I'm okay with being attacked because at least a few people out there, I was the villain in the story, for sure.
I wonder if any of your exes are seeing this.
That is
right? Are they going like, yeah, that's right?
I don't know. I think I've also been hurt and been left. And, and I've been on the more anxious side. I qualify as a fearful avoidant, meaning that,
there's so many titles and labels. Like,
yeah, we can break that down real quick if you want.
Yes, please.
So you have
fearful avoidant.
So you have the anxious attachment, which I think we all understand pretty clearly. Someone who, when they feel dysregulated, are going to reach for someone to make them feel better. They do not self-regulate very well. You have the avoidant who only wants to regulate alone. That's when they feel safest. You have
How is that a thing? I find it so fascinating.
Man, living on an island can be so peaceful.
Without someone going, why didn't you text me?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get it.
I do.
So the fearful avoidant, they are the most annoying because when they meet you, and then they sort of, when they're alone and when they meet you, they have this desire to pull you in the same way an anxious person might. I really find completion and purpose in pulling someone in and finding partnership. I promise I want this. I promise I want what you want. You get it, all of a sudden things feel like we're on the same wavelength, they really understand me. And then as that happens, the avoidance starts to get triggered and they back away little by little. It's just too much. It's too much. I just feel suffocated. I just feel like you want more than I can give you.
But you said you wanted it, Naj.
I know. And I meant it when I said it.
I'm sure you did.
And that's the hard part. I try to say this in my videos. People are like, you're full of shit. Sorry, I don't believe you. But it's true. Every single every single fearful avoidant I've ever worked with has the same exact story, which is I meant it when I committed to this relationship, and I cannot help feeling like now it's too much. I just am overwhelmed. I can't meet your needs. You want too much from me. I'm losing myself.
Oh, God. Sorry, I'm just having some flashbacks.
Uh-huh.
Because it's
You've
like
been there.
when you have struggled with this as an anxious attacher, right?
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, I'm going to take them at their word, right? So believe them when they tell you who they are. So they show up and they're like, hey, girl, I like you. I'm interested. I want to do this. And then my 7-year-old's like, all right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's rock and roll. And then, a few months in, they're like, oh, God, this is, or even a few weeks in, this is getting real. Oh, my God, this is a real relationship. This is feeling really vulnerable. I'm scared. And if there's any pattern change, and us Virgos will notice real quick, then I start to get anxious.
Yes.
And I feel even when I try to play it cool, everybody can smell it from like miles away.
Right.
We all can feel that energy of like, oh God, the texts are getting a little, like there's more space in between, right? And then I feel myself trying not to be weird, but as soon as they call, I'm like, hi. How was your day? I guess you were busy today.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm trying to be cool, but inside I'm like, why haven't you texted me all day?
Okay.
And then the dynamic just crumbles. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's really difficult to get back to that nice space when you both felt like you were in alignment, because then any shift just causes, dysregulation on my part. And I love that you said that part about avoidance needing to be alone to regulate, because I do think if you acknowledge that you have that dynamic, I wonder if that's helpful in a relationship where it's like you are being avoidant and I am being anxious. So what can we do about it?
Yes. That
Versus
is
just doing it,
literally word for word, one of my favorite posts that I put up is that exact sentence. I know that I need space to regulate. You know you need me to regulate.
Yeah.
But if we both do a little bit of that on our own, meaning I open up to the idea that it's okay to let you in when I feel bad, and you open up to the idea that you have to take care of yourself to some degree, we meet in the middle in this really beautiful way.
Yes, but you have to communicate these things.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
so then I feel what gets messed up and lost is that, because usually I'm not saying it's all, there obviously are anxiously attached men, but usually it's the male and the female, it's doing it the normal way. I feel like men start to feel like we're nagging them.
Sure.
And then women just feel like they don't want to be around them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to take it just one level deeper, the nagging, really what we hear, especially as men, is that our duty, our role in the world is to make people happy, to give them what they want, to be what people expect. It's not just men. A lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
But when you tell me that I haven't texted you when you expected, that I haven't met some need of yours, I don't hear, oh, this person just has a request. I hear one more person I've let down.
And then what do you want to do about that? You then need to figure it out on your own.
So if I have not dealt with my shame as a man, if I have not learned how to disappoint people and still move into relationship with them, then I run away. And I've learned that from my childhood, right? And if you have conditional love in your history, where you were either the good kid or your disappointment, you're like, I know what this feels like. I've disappointed you again. I don't want to lecture. I don't want to deal with this. I'm out.
So we just, guys just run. And then you're left to kind of pick up the pieces, and then we're chasing and trying to figure it out. So I want to go back to this post, okay? So people are angry because you left?
I think...
Like what is, I'm trying to understand what they're upset about.
Yeah.
Like, what did you say, Naj?
I said that I feel that I was right.
In leaving?
In leaving.
Okay.
And not that I was right in the way that I left, just that I was right to leave. And people feel like that's smug, which it kind of sounds like it is.
Because you broke up with somebody?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But again, if you are on my page and on the internet and you're getting fed from the algorithm, people who are going to trigger a wound of yours,
right?
That guy in that video is going to trigger you badly because he is saying that sometimes it's okay to leave. And your belief, and you're on the internet trying to get the reinforcement of no. You have to work it out. It's never okay to leave. You have to, and so I'm saying, no, sorry.
I see what you're saying now. So they're like, no, stay there, trudge through it, and figure it out.
Right.
Versus just saying it really isn't working.
Yes, and the people that want to leave are avoidant, narcissistic, selfish, immature. And the fact is sometimes they are. And sometimes I was.
Right.
But also, I can be all those things and not wrong. Right.
There's the hot take.
Yeah.
Because I felt my heart rate going up a little bit.
Yeah.
There it is. Now I see what everybody's talking about. I'm
Right.
like, okay, no.
To take it a step further, I'm not wrong because I was not what you needed.
And that's what I was going to get into next, this idea, because you said something earlier where it's like the anxiously attached person probably knows too that the relationship isn't working.
Yes.
And I've been in that situation where
Yes.
I don't want to end it because I
Yes.
don't want to be alone.
Right.
And the idea of starting this over again feels really daunting.
Yep.
So I'm just going to stay and I'm going to fight through it and I'm going to struggle through it.
Yep.
Even though I know when I lay next to that person at night, I want to choke them out. You know what I mean? And so then they do it. And in my heart, I know it's the right thing to do. But then my 7-year-old's like, no.
Yes.
But we both know it's wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. It's an awful cycle.
So then how do you know when to stay with someone? If you want to choke them out and you're staying with them, how do you know
daily
when?
basis.
Because that seems like a pretty tall bar for, like, no, it's okay. I just want to kill them. It's no big deal. Like, we're meant to be together.
Right.
Like,
But I
so
think
then
you get used to the struggle, right?
Yes, it's
And
familiar.
you get used to these patterns. Even if you think about, at least sometimes for me, conversations with my friends, right? And their relationships, you get used to hearing, I haven't heard from them. This isn't working out. You know, rarely do we hear, oh my God, he's wonderful. Everything's great. He's doing. So you start to think it's just normal to be uncomfortable in your relationship.
Yep.
And you have these problems.
Yeah. So we're getting into this really challenging topic of what's called like a repetition compulsion. Some people call it unfinished business. When someone feels the lack of safety that you're talking about in a relationship, the unpredictability, when's he going to text me? Is he coming through today? Do I really have a person or not? When someone feels that, they typically would go, I hate this.
I'm going to go.
I'm out of here.
Right.
Yeah. But if you have some unfinished business around getting someone who's unavailable to choose you, this feels like, oh, I got to make this work. Yeah. Because
What is that, Naj?
well, so from a neuroscience perspective, it's the idea that we choose familiarity
Okay.
even when it's bad for us, because that is still safer to these parts of the brain than something new and unknown. From a psychological point of view, they might say it's the idea that you must resolve something that's unresolved from your past. The work that I do is all about finding that resolution within yourself, so that you don't go and find someone else to try to do that for you. Your parents were supposed to.
Right.
Now you're not going and finding a partner. You're trying to find a parent. And no one wants to be your mommy and daddy.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so true. The repetition cycle. And because sometimes people would say, this relationship I was in for a long time, do you feel like you wasted your time? And I always say no, because even if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else
I love
for
that.
me to learn the lesson with.
Yes.
So yeah, it came in this package that was very dysfunctional and awful, but whatever lesson I needed to learn at that point in my life could have shown up in any shape or size, but
Yeah.
the lesson still would have been the lesson.
Yes.
And getting stimulated by that's why I was getting like a visceral reaction. You're talking about not calling you back. When are we going to hang out? Chasing them and all this stuff. I have goosebumps right now. I'm so not interested in that anymore.
Yes.
And when those things come up, I'm like, okay, I'm out. Maybe I've even over-indexed to the other side where I see anything and I'm like, okay, no, I'm done. I'm out of here. Because I don't want to, that cycle is, it was part of the reason I started this podcast, because some people take that on so heavily. And there were moments where I felt like I was going to die trying to get out of it. But then also, if that person tried to leave me, I was like, no, wait, don't take this away from me. You know what I mean? And it's really crazy making. Not just like, let me process.
Yeah, give me a sec. And I think we're back to, the theme of this, which is if you are okay with things ending, then that message, that learning, that insight that you've gained is the point of the relationship sometimes. And if you can accept that that's what I was here to do, which you can later, right? That's part of the healing journey, is to look back and go, oh, they were in my life for this reason. But what if you were able to do that in the context of things going, wow, I feel really unsafe here. I think what I'm supposed to learn is that I don't like feeling unsafe and I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah, I just think it's where you are on your journey of growth,
Of
right?
course,
Because at
of
that
course.
time,
Yes.
I was so committed to fighting for the relationship.
Yes.
And there was nothing anyone could tell me that was going to get me away from this person. But now in hindsight, it's been a few years and I'm like, wow, I forgive myself for what I put myself through. And I just had to do the work when I did the work. But at that time, I was so just unhealed.
Yes.
And if this man showed up today, I wouldn't go anywhere near him.
Right.
Yeah, because I was really broken. But I love this topic of it's okay for things to end. Because I really feel like people, especially dating, it's hard out here. You're married now, but these dating apps and trying to hope that the person that you're with has the best intentions for you. Who are they really? You know, I always call it the box of hair. It's like everybody has a box of hair. Like something weird. Like you look in their closet and you're like, it's like the metaphorical box of hair. You're like, what is this? This is fucking weird. Why does this guy have a box of hair? Everybody has something where you're like, I don't know what is going on here, but I like him and I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah. And like getting to that point where you just know all the things.
Yeah.
And I do feel I was extremely motivated by my ex of 4 years because I knew everything about him. He was terrible to me, like awful, but I knew everything about him. Mm-hmm. It was the devil I knew. Mm-hmm. So I was like, he's awful, but I'm gonna stay anyway.
So I lean into this idea that there are attachment needs that need to be met. And people tend to over-index on compatibility.
Interesting.
Undervalue the attachment needs that they have. And so, well, we like the same things, the sex is good, or whatever. You know, there's a lot of things that we think are very important and are, but will not replace the lack of attachment needs being met.
Interesting.
And if your metric for a good relationship is attachment needs, the second you realize this person cannot meet them, will not do the work to meet them, you're out.
Meeting your attachment needs?
Yeah.
Ooh. Because I always just think of it in terms of compatibility.
Right.
But not in the sense of,
right.
Oh, that's interesting.
So put it to you this way. No matter how much you love the same music, have good sex, or how you even have the same religion,
right.
You cannot build a connection with somebody if you are not safe, secure, regulated. Like if you don't feel that they are loyal, you can't trust them. If they don't feel like you're a good partner, you don't feel like you can respect the way that they're a partner to you. Like these are foundational for a secure partnership.
Right.
Connection grows out of this. I think a good time grows out of good sex. And I think a long-term, there is intimacy there that's very important for connection, but you're not going to grow a connection out of just sex.
Well, I mean, yes, no, you're not. No, you're not. Not a sustainable one. Got a flashback. I'm like, well, I mean, you can. No, but not in all seriousness. No, you can't life with somebody based on your bedroom activities.
It's a good place to start.
I mean, you can. But like as my mother would say, you can't stay in the bed all day, right? Like you 100%. Have to go and live life and actually life together.
Exactly. So, I mean, we can get more practical, right? So, like the difference between something that's like a compatibility, like we're talking about sex, and an intimacy need being met versus an attachment need. Well, like you're talking about safety, right?
Yeah, safety is really important for women. And something I always like to ask my guests, especially men, in terms of the masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah.
If that shows up in your relationship, do you guys play into those roles? Is this not a thing? Do you think it's a thing? Because I had something really interesting happen that I'll share after you answer the question.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, my wife's Latin. So I think it's part of her makeup for sure.
I was going to say, enough said.
Yeah. Enough so it's important for her that she feels safe, that I'm the protector, that I work hard in a way that she sort of expects. And I'm okay with that. If I was not okay with that, then I'd be with the wrong partner, right? That's what it is. It's not right or wrong. That's her preference. She's allowed to have it. It's more traditional than I used to be. But now that I'm living kind of that more traditional dynamic, it's working.
How does it feel for you as a man? Because people talk a lot about biology and natural ways of men. Does it feel like that for you? Do you think, as a broad stroke, that men should do X? Or do you think it's just dependent on the dynamic with the person?
I was in a men's group last night, all new dads. I'm a new dad.
Oh my God, I love this.
Yeah, and 3 of the guys there were stay-at-home dads.
Okay.
And we had this conversation about their experiences as stay-at-home dads and the other guys who are going to work, and how it is a shift in their identity. Yes, of course, but in my definition of what a man is someone who does what needs to be done.
Period.
That's it. You do what needs to be done. You need to cook, you need to clean, you need to fix the car or get the car fixed. It doesn't matter. You do what needs to be done so your partner can do what she needs to do.
I love that. I love that because I have a friend and she's in a relationship and he's more of the stay-at-home person, and people have had all kinds of things to
Of course,
say
yeah.
about the dynamic because she's the breadwinner.
Yeah.
But it's like it works for them and they've been together for like 16 years.
Sure.
And so, but there are people, especially I feel in the influencer culture, who have these big ideas of a man should only do X and that's it, period. So I was interested to know what your thoughts were.
It's bananas to me, right? Like, and no one should only do like such a strange, rigid approach to our existence of being dynamic humans. If you're in a relationship, you fill the gaps. That's the point of a relationship. That's the point of community. You can't do it all the time. You have to come in and fill the gaps as necessary. If you believe that that's below you or it's not my job, that gap goes unfilled, your life is worse.
Right.
Like, why would you draw the line there arbitrarily? It's so bizarre to me.
And so you didn't really grow up that way, you said, or that it's more traditional than you're used to.
My parents are traditional people. I
Yeah.
had just sort of like adopted, through college and all these sort of like very equal energy, equal whatever approach to relationships. I don't think it really worked for me.
Okay.
Probably because every decision then becomes like a very long conversation.
Right. If we're sitting there having to half and half every single
Every
thing.
single
Yeah.
thing. And, sort of if we split up responsibilities, you handle this, I handle that, things just get done faster, easier, more efficiently.
Everybody knows their positions and their places.
Right.
Yeah. I always say I'm the type of woman where if you let me, because I can be alpha,
Yeah.
but also if you put a little bass in your voice.
Yeah.
I'm
right.
like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
right.
We're not doing that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and I think I do need that. Like, I can admit that.
Yes.
Because I dated someone where I was in the driver's seat for everything.
Right.
And I didn't like it.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I show up that way with my family and my
Right.
work and other things. So it's nice to feel if someone says, Drea, I got it. Like, relax.
That is exactly what I hope women get to feel. Is because I think if you have a profession, if you're already making a ton of decisions in your life, you may want someone who can hold you physically and emotionally.
Please.
So that you feel like, oh God, I don't have to make more decisions today. I trust that you will do it for me. Now, back to the like gender thing, that decision might be about food and dinner. That might be about, paying the bills. It might be anything. The point is that you trust them to make decisions for you. My pushback on the whole thing is that decision, again, doesn't have to be gendered. It could be, where the kids are going to school. It could be a lot of things.
Right.
It's just that you trust that person to be there for you and to make decisions.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to men, which I've done a couple times on this show, because I imagine the pressure for just men in general, if you are doing things outside the box, to ignore all the comments or things that come in of like, oh, you let her work and you do this,
Yeah.
and then just have to still stay in your manliness for yourself and your relationship and not care. I imagine that's really heavy to carry for men, especially because, I've said this many times on the show, I do think that there's a gender war and you're not in this, but like if you're dating, everyone just shows up on the date like this. Men included. Like, well, you're not going to call me. I'm not making no plan. It's wild. It's
Yeah.
really crazy.
So I do have this conversation a lot with my clients, a lot. And in therapy, I get to push on this in a way that I don't
Okay.
think I could with like a friend. And essentially, I break it down to vulnerability. I get that you are tired of being hurt. I get that you are going to come in guarded because you don't know what they're going to give you and what they're going to say and what you're going to get in return. But that sort of transactional nature keeps us from getting to know each other. It keeps us from really connecting and finding moments of connection because we're so preoccupied with the idea that you are definitely not going to care about me. And because I need you to care about me to
Yeah.
trust you, I'm not going to let my guard down.
Yeah.
Which I understand, of course. Self-preservation is important. But it is leading to a lot of people just bumping heads.
Yeah. What do you say to the avoidant man, the fearful avoidant, as you
Sure,
said,
yeah.
that really wants to open up and to step in that space? And I think it was so beautiful what you said, like the avoidant has to then realize, hey, I need to meet that person halfway. And so does the anxious attached person
Yeah.
who has to self-regulate. And
Yeah.
that's been my biggest gift to myself is that I can self-soothe.
Yeah.
Because for many years, I could not. And it was a disaster.
Yep.
But now I can take that pause. But what do you say to the avoidant that's wanting to be vulnerable, but they have a hard time doing it?
Well, similar to you, it starts with regulation. They need to be able to regulate so they don't disappear. They have to stay present. They have to stay present with difficult feelings like shame and pain and a lot of the things that they, again, want to shut down and run from. So once you can do that, and if you're in therapy, it's because you want to do that. So you start with that work. They have to be able to push back against thoughts about their self-worth, or people don't want to be there for me, or I can't trust this person. You have to work through that stuff. Once someone can do that, then it's really not up to me. It's really up to their ability to then continue that healing in the context of partnership.
Yeah.
When someone does prove them wrong and shows up for them and is willing to love them in spite of their flaws, or not want too much from them, is going to listen to their communication, then all of a sudden they realize that it's okay to co-regulate. It is safe. I don't have to listen to that voice.
Love co-regulation. Love it.
It's a beautiful thing
It's
that we
so
are
beautiful.
able to do. And when you get it, right, like falling asleep next to somebody and feeling your heart rate lower and your breathing settle down because you're next to that person who like you've connected with. It's like it's the best thing in the world.
It's the best thing in the world. I feel like there's not enough conversation around co-regulation in disagreements, or when you kind of come down from that space.
Yeah.
And I've only had one moment with this person that I wasn't even full on seeing, but we did this breathing thing together, and it was really interesting. We hugged and we took some deep breaths together. And even something as silly as that, and some people listening might be like, what are you talking about? It really did bring the energy down in this beautiful way. And I love a man working on himself. Please have an emotional toolbox. Por favor. You know, I love it. And it was his idea. He was like, come here, give me a hug. Let's take some deep breaths. And I was like, I do.
Yeah.
I'm in.
And it works. That's the thing, is it works. It's not silly. It's biological, right? Like you cannot deny that at a biological level, when someone hugs you and breathes with you, you feel better, whether it's your mom, your dad, or a partner. And sort of to deny that, even in the dating space, right? So you're talking about like being like this, just at like a talking level.
Yeah.
But again, sure, you're not going to go up and hug someone you just met, but you do have to have the openness to receive that verbally. Whatever that looks like verbally, like if I'm not willing to like lower my arms and breathe with you as we get to know each other over a drink, this is never going to work.
And you can see body language. I pay so much attention to body language. So if a guy's sitting there like this on the date, looking around or whatever, not giving me any feedback, I'm like, let's just get going. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
But you can tell so much by how a person's breathing.
That happens to you?
I mean, not often, but
Okay.
it can. It can. You know, the thing is with me and dating, it's interesting because once people know I have a podcast and I'm talking about relationships, people can get intimidated. They feel like they're being judged.
Right.
They're going to be put on the show.
Right.
And I always just say, if you don't give me any content, buddy, you know, this is up to you. Like, you don't say anything crazy, I don't have anything to talk about, you know. But I do understand, you know, the whole dynamic. But, you know, sometimes it's a lot for people. And I don't ask the regular questions that people get. Like, I have a whole process of vetting thing when I'm online dating because I don't want to waste my time, Naj.
Wow.
Yeah. Like we need to talk on the phone. And we need to FaceTime.
Sure.
I don't want to get in the car and spend my makeup on you if you don't look like your photos and then you sound like Mickey Mouse. Like, I don't know. That's happened to me.
Oh, man.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got stuff going on, so I don't want to waste my time. But people will always say, they're like, wow, this is pretty deep for a first conversation. And I'm like, yeah, because I immediately ask, what tools do you use to navigate your life? Like, I need to know, because that's what you'll use to navigate our disagreements. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, there goes 90% of the population.
They're gone.
Yeah.
They're out of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good question. It's a tough one.
Well, it's also a great question to see where they are. And if people don't have anything to say, thank you. Next. You know? Another great question I always ask is, if you take all of your girlfriends and you put ex-girlfriends and you put them in a room, they would say, Naj is so great, but. Because I feel that there are things we've all heard multiple times. I know I have. And it's always inevitable. I hear the thing and I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
This is a Drea thing.
Yeah.
So I know what my little like satchel of weaknesses are. So I always ask that question to men.
Got it. So it's not you're not looking for, you're just looking for them to have awareness.
Yes, it's a self-awareness question of like things that you work on, or how do you show up in a fight? Like, do you retreat? Do you need a minute? Do you manipulate? Do you name call? You know, and I've actually had men say like, yeah, I've probably done some not so great things. I have a bit of a temper, and I'm like, okay, and then what else? What else?
I'm sorry, this is first date material?
Maybe second, but
Okay.
the conversation just naturally flows.
Okay.
Right? I don't just like have a list of
Got it.
things. It's more of a natural
You're getting to know
conversation.
them and it comes up. Got it.
Yes. And
Got
I'm
it.
not just like, dang, Drea, hold on a second. But dating on these apps is really difficult. What do you think about the apps?
The apps made me so good at being assertive and clear and definitive so that when I met my now wife,
Did you meet your wife on an app?
nope.
Okay.
But I had been dating on the apps a lot before that.
Okay.
So when I met her, I wouldn't say aggressive, but I was like, hey, because on an app, at least my experience is the person that I would like to be in person will get no attention. I have to be like turned up a little bit in terms of my approach, my snappiness, my wittiness. Everything has to be turned up. But that's not who I was in person. But then when I met her, I was like, well, let's see what happens if I am that guy in real life.
Oh.
Yeah,
You intentionally took it up a notch.
Yeah, I said
Okay.
some things to her that I would never have said had I had not been dating and using apps because it trained me to be direct. Direct in a way.
How interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you what I told her.
Yes, please.
So
give it
we
to
had
us.
been hanging out for like 2 or 3 months, kind of like friends with benefits. Let's just see where this
2 or
is.
3 months for
Yeah.
FWB?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I couldn't do it.
It was, yeah. I mean, we again, as someone who leans avoidant, I was sort of like seeing her once or twice a week at that point, right? And then
Okay.
during the week, I would just disappear. And so she wasn't ready to commit. And then we had to have a conversation
Naj.
about that. Look, I've healed a lot, Drea. Healed a lot.
Okay, sorry. You broke
No,
down
but
my
I
mind.
appreciate your protectiveness over her. She
I'm a
deserves that.
girl,
She deserves
yeah.
that. But I was ready at that point, and I could tell she was not ready. She was not sure. And so I said to her, listen, this friendship that we're doing has an expiration date
Right.
because I need to know if we are going to move to the next stage or not because I want to.
And I feel like a man needs to be the one to say that.
Sure.
Don't
Yeah.
you think? I think, Naj.
I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want, and you're allowed to want that.
Yeah, but I think a man should set the temperature in a relationship. Oh. Go ahead. Give us a hot take, Naj. I'm ready. Tell me.
I do. And that's what's worked for me is because I do. And
Okay.
that's also what I learned on the apps is that
You set the temperature.
Yeah. And I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I did not, no one told me that. No one taught me that. And I thought that we were co-creating something together and that I need to come off like very, like egalitarian. Like, hey, we're the equals here. We're all in this together. And guess what? Yeah, I got nowhere. The second I was vocal, decisive, kind of, I wouldn't say dick, but definitely not always nice, boom, date after date after date.
See? Yes, and I want you to say that one more time because you were clear, direct, and assertive,
Yeah,
right?
Yes. And again, it was, if you want to get a little finer tip on that, I just said what I wanted and was okay with getting no in response.
Yes, this is the other thing we wanted to talk about, the rejection aspect.
Yeah.
Being okay
Yeah.
to get rejected.
Yeah.
Especially on the male side.
Yeah.
And to just put yourself back out there again.
Like 100 million times. Yeah. I mean, that's the challenge of the dating apps is our, like the number of rejections we're going to get, even when we've tried very, very hard, is kind of endless. And I got kind of tired of it, but it didn't mean I stopped because it was like, what other option do I have?
Right.
I have my cousin, she was a friend of my cousin's. We happened to hang out. We have the same professional background, so it worked really well. But if I hadn't met her, I honestly don't know what I was going to do because the apps, despite getting a lot of opportunities, was not working.
It wasn't working. So did you find that you didn't have any long-term dating anything with anybody on the apps?
Not once.
Not once?
Not once.
Wow. So you were just going on these dates
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it's tough. You're very lucky to be off the market because it's an interesting place. You sit down and I think going on dates without the expectation, especially like at a certain age for a woman, even for a man, depending on what you're looking for, it's a lot of pressure.
It is.
It's a lot of pressure. And then dealing with this rejection, but still going out there and being like, okay,
Yeah.
new person.
Yeah.
How do men do that? Like, what do you tell them? The ones who are out there going, Naj, I'm tired. I've spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
These women are whatever.
Okay. So I have a totally different take when it comes man to man on this.
Okay.
My relationship to a man in therapy is trying to understand what other people are experiencing. This is what I was telling you about having a male therapist for yourself.
Yes, I was going to bring it back to that too.
Then you get a male's perspective on what it's like to try to connect with you intimately. Not sexually intimate,
Okay.
but emotionally intimate. I'm
Okay.
trying to, as your therapist, get underneath your skin And you're going to let me do that as your therapist. And the resistance I feel to doing that is what any other man is going to feel.
You think it's the same?
It's very close.
Oh.
Also, the trust that we build becomes a bit of a bar that sets. So no one's going to be your therapist.
Right.
But you need to feel what it's like to be understood, to be seen, to be connected with.
A man.
I mean, if you have that in your background and it's easy to pull from, great. But if you don't, then when have you experienced that?
Oh, wow. I didn't think about it like that, Naj. Okay. God, you may have convinced me. Because you say a male therapist, I'm like, no.
Right.
I got to stick with my ladies.
Yeah, and I do think there's a time and a place for a female therapist for everybody because they are like home, right? Like they're so soothing and so warm, and I loved my female therapist. But when I work with like females, the work, just like with males, the work is about what's happening between us. So with a man who can't find a partner, this is a literal conversation I've had many times. Guy gets broken up with again after the third date. And he says to me, I don't know what's going on. I was clear, I was open, I felt really comfortable with her. And she's like, I can't get to know you very well. I don't know what's going on. I just feel like we're not connecting. Mm-hmm. And he says, but it's so weird because I told her everything that was on my mind. And so I say to them over and over again, I got to be honest with you, I kind of feel the way she does.
Oh, interesting. Oh.
As your therapist, it's okay that I ask you a lot of questions. It's okay that I sort of pull out how you're feeling about something.
Yeah.
If I was trying to date you, that would feel like a lot of heavy lifting.
Because you're not being open.
You think you're being open by sharing information. What I'm looking for is something to connect to, which is
more vulnerability.
Vulnerability, experience, what you're passionate about. Not that you like surfing or your job, but what about it? Where's the meat?
Where's the meat? And so that's interesting how that can still show up in therapy and then parallel to your relationship.
That's all good therapy is exactly that paradigm. What's happening between you and me in therapy is what's happening out in the world.
Yeah.
The difference is here we have safety, we have a legal frame so that no boundaries get crossed, and we can talk about it in a way that you trust me to poke at you in a way a stranger or even someone you're dating should not.
You know what? You're right, because there are parallels, even with my female therapist, that can show up in my relationships, or just things that I do that they're very similar.
Exactly.
Ah, okay. I love that, Naj. So what message do you want to get out from your platform? Like, what's your overarching message?
I want people to understand that healing is possible, that with the right work, anyone can do it. So if you are an avoidant and you are stuck dating and leaving, I would hope that they would not see themselves as broken or lesser than, because that's how I felt eventually.
Yeah.
That if you do the work, you find the right support, you will find love and a good connection. But yeah, you're going to have to work at that a little bit. And for the anxious attachers in the world, just like you, look, please.
I'm healed. I'm securely attached. I don't know what you're talking about.
You've done the work at least to self-regulate.
Yes, I have.
And that's all I ask of people. Just please, whether you're avoidant or anxious, please do the work to self-regulate, because that's when you can start to build awareness. Because if I'm in distress, the other thing I'm probably going to do is blame everybody for my distress.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like that I represent on the internet, is someone who triggers their distress and then I get blamed for that. And I'm like, this feels weird.
It's okay to leave.
I didn't break up with all of you, but it
Right,
sure feels like that.
How are you handling that, by the way, with all the comments and things? Because we're human, right? I get a couple bad comments sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, everybody hates me.
Yeah.
But it's not true. It's just part of putting ourselves out there, right?
Yeah, and understanding who is likely to comment on a video and why the algorithm gave it to them. And again, maybe there will be a video that if they follow me or continue to get fed my videos, maybe they'll learn something.
Yeah.
And this was a way to just get connected to them.
I mean, it is okay to leave. And it's like every relationship you have, which is something I learned, unfortunately, later in life, it doesn't mean that it's the forever one. It's just this period of your life. And I used to take everything to heart, and I would just hang on for dear life. And I would say this thing, I was like, once my claws are in, it's really hard to get it out. And
well, you really said
shocking that people continue dating me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because at the time, it was true. Because I knew once my heart opened, I had a really hard time like putting it back in and then opening it up to somebody else. Because it's scary. Like love, it's a risky thing.
It is.
Yeah, and it's also risky when someone chooses you and says that they like you. I mean, that's a whole other episode. You know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. And lastly, what do you want to leave the men with who can't handle rejection?
Rejection is really about exposing yourself to it. at the end of the day, your fear that it's going to hurt and that you can't handle it and it will say something true about you, that you're not worthy, that you're unlovable, that you're not wanted.
Yeah.
The more you continue to put yourself out there, the more you'll find your audience. And that's what happened with me in social media. That's what happened to me with my wife. I had to get vulnerable, realize that I can withstand the pain of the rejection over and over again until you become good at it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Naj. I appreciate you. Let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Naj_Alikhan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. As always, don't forget this is the place for the Hot Mess Expresses and the Black Sheeps of Love. Until next time, I'm Drea Renee, and this is Hey Babe, Can We Talk? Bye.